North Korea's apparent test of a hydrogen bomb is drawing strong condemnation and skepticism around the world. If it really was an H-bomb, if this really was successful fusion, it represents a significant escalation of the secretive regime's nuclear capability. This is certainly a big headline. We are fortunate to have Senator Steve Daines joining us now, Republican from Montana, to discuss this, guns, and also what's going on close to your neck of the woods in Oregon. Senator, thank you for joining us. What is the immediate reaction to what's going on in North Korea? If this is what they say it is, what should the U.S. do?
Well, this represents a direct threat to not only our national security, but really the stability of the entire world. It's interesting that as we look at the failed policies of the Obama administration, what we're seeing is a world's response to the weakness that is projected by our current president. Our enemies no longer fear us. Our allies no longer trust us. But think about 20 years ago, President Clinton was touting a peace agreement, a nuclear non-proliferation agreement with North Korea. There's a lot of parallels between what's going on in North Korea as well as in Iran today. Think about this. The International Atomic Agency was to be the organization to ensure that North Korea did not get the nuclear bomb, did not get a hydrogen bomb. It's the same organization that this president's putting trust in to stop Iran from getting a bomb. Iran, a nation that chants death to America, and is somebody that we cannot trust. And so I think there's a lesson to be learned here with Iran as well as what's going on in Korea.
And we are learning that there may be more of a joint purpose between North Korea and Iran than previously thought. We had this Forbes guy on this morning who studies this area. He says he believes Iranian scientists are helping North Koreans. But the main problem that you had to deal with that we didn't see any better solutions come up on was, well, your allies didn't want to do sanctions anymore with Iran. They didn't work. They were still developing things. And this deal was seen for a long time by many on both sides as the best option. What's the better solution?
Well, this comes back to American leadership and projecting strength as a country. This is why America needs to be leading in foreign policy around the world than President Obama's current approach, which is really leading from behind. I mean, look at what's going on in the Middle East today. Our allies, we look at Israel, we look at Saudi Arabia. This president has cozied up to Iran and alienated our most important ally, which is Israel, as well as Saudi Arabia. And so this comes back to projecting strength from the Oval Office, and this president has projected weakness. So Obama-Clinton foreign policy, and we're starting to see the results of that.
So let's get to the damned if you do, damned if you don't portion of our discussion today. We get to guns. You say he's leading from behind. Abroad, he tries to lead from the front on guns. He gets similarly pilloried by people on the right. What is your problem with the executive orders that President Obama put out yesterday? Let's put up for the audience a little quick full screen on what the basic high points are. Expanding background checks for private sales. Really just making background checks universal is what he's trying to do. Hire more ATF agents to help do that enforcement. Increasing funds for mental health care, which everybody seems to say is important but neglected. Research and develop gun safety technology. What don't you like and why?
Well, Cindy and I are the parents of 4 children, and as any American parent has seen the horrible tragedies at Sandy Hook, in Aurora, Colorado, in San Bernardino. But here's the reality. What the president has proposed would have done nothing to prevent these tragedies. Instead, he's more focused on undermining the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans. And so, yes, we need to put more resources towards dealing with mental health issues in our nation. We need to put more resources toward dealing with criminals, those who steal guns and use them. But to put in place policies, and I read the 15 pages that were released yesterday from the president's policy that would impose fines of $250,000, 5-year prison terms, as he's undermining the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans. That's the wrong approach, and that's why we're very concerned about what he is trying to do. His heart's in the right place, but the policies he's in place undermine very important fundamental rights, will do nothing to keep our community safer.
All right, let's stay with this for a second, because it's obviously important right now. Why is his heart in the right place? Because nothing has been done by help on any of this. Well, it doesn't help the mass shootings. Probably true. However, legislating or making a move to help on 1% of the shootings isn't necessarily the most efficacious thing to do. 99% of them, background checks may in fact stop people who shouldn't get guns from getting them. That's not an abridgment of the Second Amendment. Justice Scalia didn't even see that in the Heller case. He said there should be reasonable restrictions. What's more reasonable than having you and me checked for criminal background and mental health adjudication? The info sharing stinks. It's not done well, but that doesn't abridge your Second Amendment right. Why not do something to help some part of a problem that all of you say you recognize?
Well, let's get to the root cause of the problem, though. The root cause of the problem here is the mental health issues, the root cause of terrorism. That's where the focus needs to be placed. And the president had a wonderful opportunity, starting off a new year, to take charge and lead to ensure that we're making our communities safer. Instead, as Marco Rubio said yesterday, he seems to be obsessed instead with undermining the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans.
I know you support Senator Rubio.
Mental health issues.
I know you've endorsed him, and I know he said that, and it sounds great, but I just don't get it. I don't see how a background check that certainly has been tested, certainly has not been found to be constitutionally violative in any way, how that infringes on your Second Amendment rights. It's just extending that check to everyone. But, Senator, we both know this is a longer conversation. I very much appreciate your advocacy for the senator and on this issue. I welcome you back to the show to discuss it anytime. Thank you for being with us today, Senator. Appreciate it.
Chris, thanks for having me on today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy New Year to you.